Hi guys and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ani Petrova and I'm a freelance marketing consultant, a full-time mom based in London, UK. If you're new to my YouTube channel and videos, here I'm sharing all my personal experience and tips on how to run your own business while being a parent. So if this is something you're interested in, please subscribe. Today we are going to talk about clients. In my previous video last time, I talked about how you can start your own business and consultancy, and promised that today we're going to talk about where and how to find your first client. So if this is something you're looking to do, please stay with me and watch the video till the end. So let's start. You already have a business, but you have a problem. You don't have any clients. Where do you actually find your first clients and how do you actually win them? So today we're going to talk about that, and we're going to focus on channels, tricks and tips on how to get your first client. So let's start. First thing you have to do to find your clients, your first clients, is to really identify who your target audience is and who your ideal clients will be. Why is that really important? It's really important and crucial because in this way you'll be able to avoid spending and wasting any unnecessary resources like time and money on channels to acquire people who will not actually be interested in your product or your service. So the first thing you have to do before you start any promotion or advertising of your business is to really think of who you are after. Who will be your ideal client and how do you actually do that? Well, every product or service is providing a solution to a problem. So first thing you have to think of is who will be all those people who might be having the problem you have the solution for. Once you've identified those people, then you'll be able to identify who they really are and what they do. Look at their job descriptions, their roles, look at the things that they interested in, like the media they're reading or places they hang out, events they go to or social media communities and networks they belong to. Once you've identified that, you're going to have a profile of your ideal client and you'll be able to identify the actual channels that you can use to reach to those people. So rule number one, identify your ideal client and target audience or segment. So the second thing you have to do once you've already identified your ideal client and target segment is to create your product value proposition and start drafting some promotional materials and content. So here you'd have to think of creating something that will be really beneficial and interesting for your target audience to grab their attention in the first place. And as I said in my previous video, one crucial thing that you have to make sure you don't do in those first promotional materials is to do any direct selling or pitching of your products or services. You have to make sure that you really provide some sort of value to the end user. So you really provide any explanation or solution to a problem that they might have, or you providing any sort of entertainment. So you have to really think and be creative here and make sure that you don't actually hard sell, but you are more informing, educating or entertaining your audience at that stage. So make sure your messaging and your materials are really not about you and your services and more about your target audience, about their interest. Once you've already created your content and messaging and tailored it to your target audience, then you can actually start distributing all those messages and content to your target audiences through the channels that you've already identified in the first step, and then start building relationships and engaging with your audience. But how do you actually do that? Here I'm going to give you 5 practical ways and channels to start with. They're pretty generic and will work for most of the businesses. So let's start. Channel number 1, use your existing network. All of us no matter if you've worked for a corporate prior to starting your business, or you've always been an entrepreneur and you're straight after uni, we all have a network of connections and people we've met and connected them in the past. So the first thing you have to do is to engage with your existing network. But here you might say, oh, but I don't think that any of my connections will actually be interested in my business or services. That's absolutely fine, because they have their own networks. So and it's easier because you already know them to reach out and approach them. That's a really good way to actually broaden your existing network. So yeah, make sure you do that. The first thing, approach your existing network. And how do you actually do that? Well, simply, all of us, we have Facebook connections, we have LinkedIn connections. So the first and most obvious thing is to update your status. But another thing here that is really important is that you shouldn't be really salesy and pitching and spamming, you know, about your business. I think you have to be very careful and present your message in more like in more informative way. Something in the sense of, hey, you know what? I'm starting this new venture and new business project. So if you or any of your friends and family and connections are interested, please make sure you give me a shot. Something along that line. So yeah, something really friendly and more informative and more like providing a live update of what's happening with you. So that's first thing, engage and approach your existing network. And this is something that really worked for me because once I started publishing content and letting people know that I've quit my corporate job and started my own freelance consultancy, one of my ex-employers contacted me and engaged me and contracted me for a project. So it really worked for me. So that's the first thing you have to do. Let your existing network know about your business. Second channel that you can use is social forums and communities. So first you have to search for the most relevant groups for your industry and for your business. So first look for those groups, look in LinkedIn, Facebook or forums online or other industry-specific forums or Quora, and yeah, identify the relevant groups. And once you've identified the groups, you join those groups and then you start engaging with the people in there. Another thing here, really important, very similar to engaging with your existing network, is to try not to be salesy and spammy, and make sure that you really providing value and engaging with the audience and people in those groups. And one way to do that is start commenting on people's posts and trying to provide any sort of advice. So channel number 2, it's online social groups and communities. We come to channel number 3, that's offline communities and events. And again, although we live in a very highly digital world, there's still lots of things happening outside of internet, and make sure you are involved in all these things. So in any industry there are offline communities like associations or societies or clubs, membership clubs, you know, who are regularly organizing events, and there's also like specific media companies who organize specific like big industry events like conferences or summits or seminars. So make sure you are going to the right and relevant events that are happening in your industry, and you connect with people and start engaging with the people who go to those events. But you know, the really important bit here, once you start going to those events, is that you actually engage. Because I've seen, you know, because I've been to events like that, and every time you see all those people who just sit there drinking their drinks and having some food and just, you know, on their own and not really speaking to anybody. So if you do that, basically that's useless. You better not spend your money, or if it's free, you better not waste your time going to you know, going to events and act like that. you have to make sure if you go to events like this, especially if you've paid for, make sure you make the most of them. So go and make sure you speak to every person in the room, find out who they are, listen to their stories, pick up things that might be useful for your own purpose, you know, for building, maybe building content or tailoring your products and services. Ask them about their opinion of what you do. Share with them your story. Engage with them in a real way. So that's really powerful, and I think one of the best ways to actually find clients and get and win new clients is to meet them in person at events, tell them your story and connect with them on the next emotional level. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all like to connect emotionally with other humans, you know, with other people like ourselves, like us. So make sure you find the relevant events and communities in your industry and really start connecting with people and engaging. Because even if you don't get any clients straight away, you're building relationships, and you don't know further down the line if these people, you know, they might need your products or services in the future, or they might have other connections in their network who they can refer you to. So make sure you build strong relationships. Here is channel number 4 that you can use to reach the new clients in the beginning, is to start engaging and collaborating with affiliates and influencers in your industry. Influencer marketing nowadays is something really trendy, and but probably the first thing that comes to your mind is all those girls and beauty gurus, girls in bikini on Instagram, but that's not really what I'm referring to. In any industry, there are people on social or even offline, people who are influential, people who maybe have their blogs or maybe have their podcasts on specific topics, and so they have a you know, big social following base. So in any industry there are people like that. So what you can actually do, look for those people and identify them. In business, generally will be those people like authors who are publishing books, who are they have regular commentaries and editorials in relevant industry media like magazines or newspapers, who have their own podcasts or you know, TV shows. So try to identify people, influential people in your industry, in your niche, and reach out to them and engage with them. But for that strategy to be successful and to get any response from all those people, you have to really make sure that you follow them for some time first before you actually approach them. You're really engaged with their content, everything that they're producing, and you're aware and you really understand you know, the things that they're interested in. And once you've already done your research on those people, you can actually approach them. But again, I think another crucial thing here is to make sure that still your first point of communication is really about them and not about you. So you don't really want to say, oh, please, can you feature me in your podcast? Again, nobody will probably respond to you if you do that. But if you say something like, hey, you know what, I've been following you for a few months now, I really enjoy your podcast, the topics that you discuss are spot on, and it really helped me to you know, create and develop my business further. And but actually, you know, I have this solution and service that I think your audience might be really interested in. Would you like to have a conversation? So yeah, make sure you first touch on their ego and make them feel good and important. And once you've done that, you can then at the end kind of pitch yourself and your offering. Yeah, that's influencer marketing. Affiliate is there are other like media providers and then bloggers and who are actually providing services like that on affiliate basis. So you can do it for a small commission. So they can feature your product or service in a post of content that they produce for a certain amount of commission. So you can also do that, but of course you would need some sort of a little investment to do that. So you're gonna have you'd need some initial budget. But again, you can try to establish and build relationships and really collaborate with influencers in your industry. So you can start for free in the beginning. But if you have the budget, go for it. You can try also affiliate marketing. And then we come to the last channel number 5, and these are websites for remote and freelance work, and also any job postings. How do you actually do that? So there is all these websites out there like Upwork, or I think Remote Work, or Fiverr, where people who are looking for freelance, for ad hoc, projects, support, they're publishing their work requirements and their projects. So this is something where you can also start from. You can create a profile there in one of those websites, and you can start pitching yourself to any open projects, yeah, so you can build a portfolio there too. Another way, and actually that I use this, you can also search, on LinkedIn or any job websites where people list job offering. You can search for any project, remote or freelance openings, and you can apply to them directly, or you can also contact the issuer of that posting directly and offer them your services for that particular project. So these are my top 5 general channels that you can start with to reach out and find new clients and win new clients in the beginning once you've started and established your business. So I hope you found this video useful, and if you use any of my tips, please let me know your experience and your feedback in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories, and also if you have anything to add, if you have your own business and you have your own experience, I'll be again very happy to hear that. So share that too. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content, and I'll see you soon. Bye!